Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Oxnum Gaming 08 here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another LegoDcSuperVillains custom showcase video, which is basically a video in the series where I showcase a custom I made in LegoDcSuperVillains. If you remember in the previous video, we showcased Shadow Red Hood, which was the final custom in the series. And in today's video, we are going to be making this the finale to the series by concluding it and showcasing my top 12 customs I made in LegoDcSuperVillains, from worst to best. I start off with the worst and then go up to the best, basically, yeah. So if you enjoy, or if you'd like to see more content like this, like the video, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn on all notifications so you can't miss anything new that I upload. I upload gaming content Tuesday to Friday at 3 PM British time, and subscribing is a brilliant way to help me reach 300 subscribers, which I very much appreciate, seeing as my current sub goal. And in case you don't know, only 10% of you watch my vids are actually subscribed, so if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, it really means a lot to me. But anyway, without further ado, let's get back into the action and showcase these customs. Starting off with number 12 being Mario. Now, I decided to put Mario as number 12 as the worst custom that I made, because he just looks too bland, to be honest, and too simple. Now, if you know me, I'd rather make a custom out of expensive characters than dirt cheap ones. I'd rather make a custom out of only characters that cost 500,000 studs, rather than a custom that can be made really early in the game. Yeah, he doesn't really have a lot of abilities other than he can just fight and shrink and also grow. Yeah, the grow and shrink abilities are also made to represent the different mushrooms you can eat in the games. And when you hold down B, he can just Wahoo. When you hold down B, he can just shoot Wahoo in order to destroy glass. But there's nothing else about that pretty much now. And out of a ranking, I'd probably have to give this one 5 out of 10, because I'm rating it out of 5 to 10, with 5 being the worst and 10 being the best. I give this one a 5 out of 10. And now let's move on to number 11, that being Jay, the Blue Ninja Master of Lightning from Ninjago. Now, I decided to put this one as number 11 because Jay is my least favourite ninja out of all of them, and although he has some pretty good abilities, I just don't really like him, to be honest. He's kind of annoying, which is why, because I was running out of ideas and I was running out of time in order to make the custom, so I just put together this one out of pieces that I could see first, pretty much, yeah. But overall, he has some pretty decent abilities. He can attack with and throw a sword, and also use electricity bursts in order to destroy objects, and also a jump slam, which is an electricity shield. And he can also use lightning as his ranged attack. And he also comes with double jump as well. But the ranking for this one, I'd probably have to give this one a 5.3 out of 10. Number 10, we have Rin Okumura from Blue Exorcist. This one just looks kind of bland, to be honest. He kind of looks like a live-action Ninjago Cole in a business suit with a tail at the back. And the sword doesn't even look like the sword that was seen in the show. Although he can throw it, pretty much. And he can still use a fire shield and create a little fire ring in order to deal damage to enemies. And when you attack an object, he'll use a little fire burst, and when you jump slam, he'll create blue fire in order to knock back enemies, pretty much, yeah. For his ground slam. This is actually the first worst invulnerable character, pretty much. But that's because this one just looks too bland for his physical suit appearance. He just looks like he's wearing a plain tuxedo, to be honest, yeah. But ranking, I'd give this a 5.5 out of 10. For number 9, we have Jimi Stringer from Hero Factory. Now, he's actually in the worst rankings because I don't really like the way this one looks. It just looks like a bunch of blue and black crap mashed together, pretty much, yeah. And the problem with ranged weapon characters, if they have elemental ranged weapons, you can't really shoot the element without there being a glitch. So I basically just have to avoid that. But other than that, he also has detective mode and can also use a little sound blast in order to knock back enemies. Even though it's not really that effective, as, yeah, it can only destroy glass, basically. It doesn't even come from the weapon, to be honest. I'd say this one is like a rip-off version of my Bionicle customs. But other than that, he can use sound to attack objects and just create a crack in the ground, pretty much. But yeah, that's it for Stringer. I'd give this one, I'd say a 5.9 out of 10. For number 8, we have Jay from Ninjago. I'm just kidding. For number 8, we have Mark Surge from Hero Factory. I decided to base this off of his brain attack form, and I don't really like the way this one turned out now. I'd say that the ghost screen stands out a bit too much in a bad way, and I don't really like the little white things that I used. And plus, I should have literally just used the visor, Captain Cold visor, in order to cover up. And there's not a lot of blue on the figure. I mean, I don't mind blue being a secondary color if the main color is black or something, but yeah. And the weapon doesn't even look like the weapon that was seen in the show. The weapon doesn't even look like the electricity shooter that his brain attack form had. It can just shoot normal bullets and stuff like that. Although he has detective mode and can use electricity, I guess. No impact effects or jump slap effects. No impact effects or hand glows, I meant. Yeah. The jetpack doesn't even look like the one seen. That's because you can't get a jetpack with wings in this game, sadly, no. It doesn't even look like the little clamps if you see on his chest. But other than that, this figure's better than the other one, so I'd say 6 out of 10 for the ranking. For number 7, we have Pohatu, my least favourite Toa in Bionicle. Now, this one just kind of looks like I merged together a bunch of tan and brown pieces just to make a big mess, basically, no. No, I'm just kidding. It's the best worst one. It's the highest ranking of the worst. It's not as bad as the other worst ones, so it's the best worst one. The best worst, I guess you could say. He's got some pretty decent abilities. Like, he has enhanced speed, which is why you can explain the jump attack and the jump dash. No, the lunge and the jump dash, actually. And he can shoot little brown stones and just aim them. Those are all his abilities, really. Pretty bland if you think about it. But other than that, he's sort of just like a brown version of all my other Bionicle customs I made. You should check out the other ones. You should check out how to make the other Toa. But other than that, I'd have to give Pohatu a 6.3 out of 10. Right, now we're going to move on to the 6 good ones. And number 6 is Chromastone from Ben 10. Now, the reason why I decided to put Chromastone in the 6 best section is because Chromastone actually used to be my favorite alien. I'm not as into the Ben 10 show as much as I used to be, but hey, it's still a good way to bring back nostalgia. And the only way I decided to base off this Chromastone is basically just the abilities he has in Vilgax's attacks. He can do the prismatic explosion, do the Gatling gun, the laser beam, which he sadly can't crouch to. But yeah, that's basically all he can do. And he also has flight, but that's all of the show elements I decided to include. And he's also got just the little hand glows to represent the, what's it called again? Yeah, he's got little hand glows in order to represent the energy outburst move. When you do XX right trigger, basically. But overall, pretty alright figure. I'd actually give this one a 6.7 out of 10. Yeah, 6.7 out of 10 for Chromastone. Number 5, we have Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. Now, he kind of looks as old as his future self from Lightyear, but basically, yeah. I think this one turned out alright, if you ask me. Yeah, even though there's not a lot of purple on the figure and you can't really put a visor on them in any way. Even though it's mainly just white and green with a $1 backpack, I'd say it still turned out pretty good. He can fly around as one of his play features, and he has hyper jump so he can launch himself into the air and stay flying. Yeah. But other than that, he can do basic melee attacks and also shout to infinity and beyond in order to destroy glass. And he can also use detective mode in order to scan threats. And he can also shoot his red wrist laser. I mean, if wrist was a beam position, I'd put it on there, but you can't do that, so I guess hand is closest to wrist. Pretty decent figure, I like it, 6.9 out of 10. But now we're moving on to number 4, and that is Lloyd from Ninjago. I'd say this one turned out pretty good, actually. Look, and the reason why I decided to put this one as number 4, it's because Lloyd always has been my favourite Ninjago character, even though I don't really like the show anymore. But yeah, I decided to base it off of mainly his ZX. Yeah, I decided to mainly base this off of his ZX movie and Zukin counterparts. Movie for the eyes and arms, Zukin for the backpack and the main body, the chest plate, the legs, the hips, and the helmet, all from his ZX form. But other than that, he's got some pretty good abilities. He can attack with the 2 katanas in order to create a little energy outburst, and also create a little energy shield for the jump slam. And he can create a little force shield, and also use an energy explosion and an energy beam from his Shadow of Ronin counterpart. I believe that's all the abilities he would have had in Shadow of Ronin if this version was in Shadow of Ronin, basically. But overall, pretty decent figure. I'd have to say 7.5 out of 10. Next, we'll move on to number 3 with the bronze medal, and that is Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. Now, I decided to give this one a gun because my favorite fight sequence in the movie is where he's running away from the police officers and he just has to shoot to kill whatever comes his way. But yeah, Patrick Bateman, pretty decent figure, not a lot to say about him. He doesn't have a lot of actions, but his skills include technology, acrobat, wall climbing, tracking, and double jump as well, basically, because he has enhanced reflex due to his vigorous exercise routine and balanced diet that he follows. But yeah, other than that, he can just shoot his gun and also attack stuff to make it bleed and also leave a giant crack in the ground. I suppose because he's that strong, even though he's quite slim, I'd say he's the average weight, even though he is shredded. Although he's shredded, I'd say he's average weight, so he's quite strong. But for the rating I had to give this figure, I'd say 8 out of 10. And next up, we have, for number 2 with the silver medal, we have Alucard from Hellsing Ultimate. Now, if you don't know, Alucard actually started the whole LegoDcSuperVillains custom series. He actually did. I just put together a bunch of pieces that look like his other counterpart. I mean, the red hood suit would have worked better without that bright red thing. I mean, if you could color it so that all the bright red turned to dark red, then that would probably be quite amazing, to be honest. But then, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to make the last one on the list. But other than that, I'd say this one looks pretty good, and I'd say that although you can't have the hair, the fedora hat looks just like the one seen in the show. I'd say Hugo Strange's glasses kind of look like a good way to resemble the orange things he has in his eyes. But yeah, I'd say the Deathstorm legs worked well for the boots, and he could do basic punches and shoot with the jackals and create cracks in the ground to spread a lot of dust. And he can also teleport around and also punch the ground in order to destroy stuff, depending on the elemental effects. If it was heat, people would take damage over time. If it was electric, he'd shock his enemies. Sonar would give him the ability to destroy glass. Silver would give him the ability to destroy... Yeah, Silver would have given him the ability to destroy silver objects, and Ice would have given him the ability to freeze. It doesn't really matter. I suppose it's because he's a true vampire and can literally just do anything, really. Pretty decent figure. I'd say this was a good one to start this series off with, and I'd actually give this one a 9.5 out of 10. As it was the last anime, and last anime I ever planned on watching. And for number 1 on the list, with the gold medal, goes to, like you guessed it, Shadow Red Hood. Now, Shadow Red Hood is like a Darth Maul colour-schemed version of normal Red Hood. It's just this Shadow Red Hood is an enhancement of the LEGO DC Supervillains Red Hood. Yeah, he basically takes some elements from the Red Hood in this game, along with Adam Strange's arms and legs and Psycho Pirate's belt in black, and also Hood on the top. And I decided to give it, to make this one a shit ton of black. Yeah, I decided to make this one a shit ton of black, just with red as the accent color, just so it'll fit in. I decided to make this one a lot more dark and grittier than the normal Red Hood. This one would have been the darkest and grittiest one. It would have still been Jason Todd, but from another universe, pretty much. Yeah, another universe Jason Todd. I'd say Jason Todd of Earth 3, to be honest. I don't really know. Basically, for the backstory, Red Hood decided he wanted to go full black for his suit and decided to go with this one. I'd say the limited color scheme and make this one have limited emotions kind of works out pretty well. He could just shoot with the black blasters that he had in Arkham Knight and also use detective mode. And his other skills include stealth and technology and also grapple hook as well. But yeah, Shadow Red Hood, out of all the 10s, I'd give this one a 10 out of 10. I'd give it 100 million if I could, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my top 12 customs in LEGO DC Supervillains that I made throughout the series of the months of late May and the entirety of June. So this will be the finale to my LEGO DC Supervillains custom showcase videos. So if you enjoyed, like, and if you haven't already, subscribe, and also comment down below what your rankings for them are. This video was all just my opinion. Comment down below which one you think was the worst and which one you think was the best. I'll leave links in the description on how to make all these figures. Trust me, I will. And also timestamps to showcase where they are. But anyway, I shall see y'all later. Goodbye, have a great day, have fun, and stay safe. Work hard, even if you feel like you can't. Shadow Red Hood is definitely the best one, definitely.